So after I had survived the invasion of England, my civilization was, as you can see in the top left corner, very unhappy. It's the result of England destroying my luxuries as well as me taking a couple of enemy cities. And in the time, while I didn't have courthouses in those new cities, I really struggled with happiness. So I was really lucky because when Austria, with whom I was still in war, offered me a peace treaty, they gave me exactly what I needed, and those were luxuries. So I got 4 luxuries, and as you can see here, my civilization's unhappiness turned into happiness once again. So even though now was the first time I had peace and I had some time to breathe again, I thought now I'm not allowed to stop, and my idea was, well, maybe I shouldn't start a real war, but instead maybe I should just take Genova, since it was very close and also very protected. And well, basically you see here, that's what I did. In the meantime, I just finished the Big Ben, so also the construction of World Wonders really went well. I was wondering that England wasn't taking this away from me. And as you saw here, I also got the Taj Mahal and accelerated it with the help of a great engineer. So things started really to look really well once again. Now Genua wasn't that much of a problem. Took some time, but in the end I shut down its fortifications. Well, as it turned out, Maria Theresa didn't really like my actions. So shortly before I was capable of capturing Genoa, she declared war to me. Unfortunately, she ganged up with Alexander, who was annoying me basically from the start of this game until now, declaring war over and over again. So now I had a two-front war once again. So I had to defend against Alexander while I had my battle going on in the south of the map. Anyways, the battle in the south seemed to be going very well. So here you see me now capturing Genoa. But my bigger concern was, will I be capable of defending against Alexander? But once again, the positioning in my defensive line occurred to be very effective, especially since I erected a fortification with the help of a great general, and I positioned a highly upgraded machine gun within this fortification. So basically there was no passing the possibility to pass this fortification with any normal unit. And what you see here now at the right corner of the screen is one thing I was waiting for a real long time. So it's basically the introduction of my ideology, and you get an ideology as soon as you have your first 3 factories. And the ideology I took is order, and for me order is just by far the best ideology. And with the introduction of order I was capable of picking 2 traits. And after the capture of Genua, my civilization was very unhappy again. And as you see here now, I took 2 traits in my ideology, giving me happiness, and I'm about 20 happiness once again. So I got so much happiness with this that um, um, I will be good for the next couple of turns, even if I capture a couple of cities. Unfortunately, that boost of happiness came 1 turn too late. Maybe you just saw it. A couple of tiles below my capital there were 2 barbarians, so if your civilization stays unhappy for too long, you get those barbarians, those unhappy rioters. So aside from having to fight Alexander now, I had those 2 intruders, but actually this wasn't a big problem. Now, even though things were going really great, um, I still was worried, and the reason why is England. So if you look into the scoreboard, she surpassed me by more than 200 points. But as long as I could maintain the same constant lead of England, and as long as she wouldn't fly away, so to say, I think it would be alright. So I was okay with that. Now, while those defensive battles in both the north and the south were taking place, um, I was I was thinking how I could get offensive again. So if I would stick in this defensive situation, and England would also declare war on me, game would be over. So I had to get a plan how to become more offensive. But things got grim once again after another civilization, even one of the stronger ones, declared on me war also. Now I didn't know about the strength of this guy's army. I didn't have any contact with him yet. So I was just hoping that he would leave me alone for a while so I could manage the Greek and also the Austrian enemies. So if he would come, that I could probably attack him with my armada, or that I would have at this time also some land units free for combat once again. But at the moment, at least all my land units were bound in combat. And you can also see this if you just look at the two barbarians. They destroyed all the tiles around this area and I couldn't do anything against it. Yeah, because I just didn't have any more land units. And now something new started, because the Greek guy now started not only invading from the north but also from the west, from the coast, and basically I didn't have any units there to defend against that. So I just had to endure his attacks. I mean, my city fortifications were strong enough to fend him off, but of course he could just destroy all my luxuries, all my tiles, and a really annoying situation. It's really annoying if you have to rebuild all your tiles, or let's better call it tile upgrades. I don't even remember when, but as you can see here, I had war also with a fourth civilization. I think that's Arabia, I'm not quite sure. And I don't even remember when he declared war on me, but since he was such a weak civilization, it wasn't that big of a problem. But at the moment I just had war against everyone once again. Um, Fortunately, only the Greek one was the one with a halfway decent army. Austria didn't really have a lot of units, so it looks very hard here. So it looks like he could take my capital, but as long as he didn't have any spearmans or um, infantry, you can't invade a city. So for instance, if you only have catapults, you can't take the city. So even if he broke down all my fortifications, he wasn't capable of taking my city. So also easy to defend. The same here in the north once again. You see the Greek one has a really big army, really a lot of units, but the only thing he's doing is he's killing my caravans, very annoying. He's killing my tile upgrades, so but since I got the ideology, I didn't have any problems with happiness, so it wasn't a big problem. So all in all, the threat coming from those two civilizations wasn't very uh, big at the moment. But once again, I think I waited for this way too long. I had to get offensive. So, as you know, all my land units in the north were kept in battle. The rest of my land units basically were in the south, defending against Austria. So I didn't have any land units. Um, but what I still had were my warships, and I had quite a couple. So I started attacking the Greek coast city, but actually taking the city took really long. Took like I think 50 turns, something like that. So here you just see the start of the siege. But still, I think it was a successful offensive move, and I could finally do some aggression. And now what you see here is a guy who declared war on me before, and actually he never attacked me. So for the peace treaty he just offered me money, and this was something I really gladly took. Here you see I even tried to bargain and maybe catch a city of him, but actually he didn't want to, and he just gave me the money. More important is that Austria finally gave up on sieging Genova, and they even decided to handle me a city for the peace treaty so that I accept. And actually this was really great because now if you look on the map, I had this new city and it was very close to Vienna. So basically you already know my next target. So aside from that, there were some minor incidents. So I think Morocco or Arabia, whatever it is called, they sent a small ship fleet, but it was very easy to defend. So not a big problem. So they attacked it as a position where I had basically two cities capable of defending. So and here, event after event, here you see the finalization of I think the World Fair, and I at least managed to get a free social trade. And here you see I take a really great trade. So basically now every of my cities produces extra food production, science, gold and culture. I just think this is one of the order trades, really awesome. There are not a lot of trades which are better than this one in my opinion. So now a couple of turns have passed again. Basically what you see here is those are my preparation for the attack on Vienna already. So I expanded my borders and already positioned a lot of units, and yeah, like I said, so these are my preparation for the war against. And maybe you might remember, but Austria got a lot of world wonders. So by catching Vienna, the probability that those world wonders are inside Vienna are pretty high. So in case that I would catch Vienna later on in the game, I would definitely climb a bit in the leaderboard, in the scoreboard, and possibly I could even close the gap to England, or at least get a bit closer to England. But anyways, there was still one thing to do before I would start a new war against Austria, and this was taking this tough and resistant coast city of the Greeks. So yeah, actually that's what's happening here. It really took a lot of turns, like 30 or 40 turns, and finally I got it. And I think this was the moment when Alexander said, "Oh my god, screw this Polish guy. I don't want to have war against him anymore. Let me surrender." And so and that's exactly what happened here. So Alexander finally surrendered, and he even um, gave me a little present in form from a city. So I created another puppet, and as you can see here, um, North America now is even more red than it was before. And so in the next part of this video series, I will show you how I started getting even more aggressive, and how and if my plans of taking Vienna turned out successfully.